Hilda. Hilda woke with a start and switched on her bedside lamp. Who's there? She said. I'm one of the little people who trashed your house. Hilda's heart skipped a beat. She jumped to her feet and raised her pillow above her head. Get out, she said. The trashing wasn't done by me personally, said the little voice. I'm more of a writer than a fighter. Did you read my note? Yes, I want us to be friends. Hilda wondered if she was dreaming. The little voice seemed to be coming from right inside her head. She poked a finger in one ear and waggled it about. Careful with that finger, cried the little voice. I'm sitting in your ear. Now, if you'll just go over to your desk, you'll find all the relevant forms. What forms? The forms that will allow you to see me. Hilda looked at the mess on her desk. The sketchbooks, pencils, colouring pens, sticky tape, monster-shaped erasers, and, right there on the edge, a teetering stack of tiny papers. I filled out most of it already, said the little voice. You just need to sign the top page. Hilda sharpened a pencil and signed on the dotted line. Good, said the little voice. Now your house is officially mine. What? Just kidding, said the little voice. But you should never sign something without reading it first, you know. Luckily for you, I'm an extremely honest elf. You can see me now, by the way. Hilda went over to the mirror and looked closely at her right ear. Perched on her earlobe was a tiny elf with a pointy red hat and pointy shoes. Name's Alpha, said the elf, grinning. I see, said Hilda, smiling sweetly. So now we're friends, Alpha. There is one teeny little thing you could do for me. What's that? Go and tell your people to stop sending us horrible letters and throwing stones through our windows and smashing our vases and ripping up our books and incinerating our marshmallows and comminating, whatever. Everything we own and messing up our game of Dragon Panic, which, by the way, I would have won if you hadn't knocked the pieces off the board. Sorry, said Alpha, but it's complicated, you see. No, it's not. Yes, it is, Alpha insisted. Look out at the window. Hilda went to the window, drew back the curtains and peeked out across the moonlit wilderness. What she saw there made her stomach flip over inside her. The wilderness was full of miniature houses as far as the eye could see. No way, cried Hilda. She ran downstairs, taking the steps 3 at a time, and barged out of the front door without even stepping to put her boots on. The elf houses arranged in clusters, some on the grass and some on the rocks. There was a town by the bloodbook tree and another along the edge of the catfish pond. The biggest town of all was in front of Hilda's house. Twig followed her outside, wagging his tail. The deer fox could not see the elf houses and must have wondered what all this fuss was about. This is amazing! Hilda knelt down to take a closer look at the little roofs and chimneys and the tiny doors and windows. They're just like dolls' houses! They're nothing at all like doll houses, huffed Alpha. Hilda stared as Twig's back leg somehow passed through the roof of an elf house without breaking it. Amazing! She said again. Most of the houses were dark, but one still had a light on the inside. Hilda picked it up and peered through the window. An elf in a comfortable armchair was taking a sip of tea when he saw Hilda's giant eye out the window. He spat his tea across the room and fell out of his chair. Do you mind? Said Alpha. Behaviour like that will not endear you to elf-kind. And what about elf-kind's behaviour? Shouted Hilda, slamming the little house back on the grass. Marshmallows, vases, TV, or have you forgotten already? It's our new Prime Minister, Alpha said. He promised to get rid of you if he was elected, and now he has been elected, so, well, you know. But that's not fair, shouted Hilda. My great-granddad built this cabin 100 years ago. We're allowed to live here as much as you are. Don't shout at me, Alpha shouted back. I agree with you. Take me to the Prime Minister, Hilda said. I need to fix this quick before Mum moves us to Trollberg. Alpha laughed in disbelief. I can't arrange a meeting with the elf Prime Minister. I wouldn't even know how. I'm a nobody. Hilda thought hard. What about the leader of this town right here? She asked, pointing at the houses in front of her. The mayor? Alpha thought for a while. I suppose I could take you to see the mayor. Good, said Hilda. Let's go right now. Yes, let's, said Alpha. After all, elf mayors love being woken up by blue-haired giant girls in the middle of the night. I'm being sarcastic if you hadn't noticed. Right, said Hilda. Tomorrow then. Tomorrow then, said Alpha. He climbed down out of her ear and disappeared into the grass. Hilda sat down on the doorstep with her head in her hands. She had always loved being in the wilderness with no other houses for miles around. It was a shock to find out that there was not just other houses in the valley, but several towns within a stone's throw of her house. The grandfather clock in the hall chimed at midnight. Hilda shivered. The night was chilly, and her socks were wet through. She was just about to get up and go inside when a shadow passed through the moonlight. Hilda looked up and gasped. A colossal shape loomed above her. It was bigger than her house, bigger than the bloodbok tree, bigger even than Bobble Hat Mountain. It was so gigantic that Hilda felt dizzy just looking at it. The black shape gazed down at her from above, and its eyes were like twin stars glowing sorrowfully in the night sky. "Mum!" Hilda croaked. "Come and look at this!" She was trying to shout, but her voice would not come out properly, and by the time her voice did start working again, the giant was gone. Oh dear, thought Hilda as she went inside. Mum isn't going to like any of this.